Me and Watson drove all the way from Columbus to see us.
I don't know whether it was stupid or what, but I went hunting with my dad-in-law and asked him why we were out deer hunting. He had a gun, I guess he could have shot me if he wanted to. Yeah. We just had sticks. Really?
Hello, wait, just take a break, and I grabbed the axe truck.
Man, sure they weren't gonna pick up.
The young man, later to be killed, his fiance, their house when they had their calves were a little unusual. We had some big bulls that ate castrate, and he wanted to know, he wanted to see how to do that. So he came up the front, because I was up there working, he was kind of looking. Got finished there over there bucking, I stood up my friends, he walked back and back where he was. I want you to know I'm real good at this. He's I was on the skid steer digging up stumps or something. He came out and I don't have any idea how long he was in the background before I saw him. I don't have any idea how long he was.
Well, that was, evidently, it was something he wanted to do.
That's what, Lauren, she pretty much, you know, she was always real stable, you know, wasn't messing around, this is the deal, you know. And it was like a three-ring circus, that crowd she brought to the house before I and it's like,
mine's like Laura, she never even dated much. Before I know it, she's engaged. And I said, well, I said, you never dated anybody more than 3 times before now. And she said, well, that takes long to touch them.
Lauren never, I mean, you know, she could always, she always knew what she wanted.
Yeah.
You know, but, man, she wakes up in the morning and the sun don't come up.
It may be right Wednesday.
Well, but she's been that way, and she's got a good personality.
Oh, yeah.
She really does. She's got a lot more personality. She is, she does. You know, I remember when they was all in high school, Lord of mercy. It was fun time.
Yes, sir. Question. Yes, sir.
On the 15.66, since it's only attaching to that 14 point something.
Right.
That's including that dam on the other side of the road.
Which one of these is?
I mean, it don't matter to me, but.
Yeah, I noticed that it's still platted, I mean, it's mapped as a one single tax map parcel.
Yeah, I mean, it's got part 1 and part 2 on it.
Right.
I mean, and I'm just wondering, should I, you know, you sent me the language on the road. I'm just wondering, should I, what zoning would that go in? I mean,
I think
how would you like that approached?
Well, we're not changing anything but the zoning of this little piece here.
Correct.
So all the rest is going to keep its same zoning, and this is just going to become part of that.
Okay.
So.
It's complicated, down a couple acres.
Isn't it though? It does make sense, it's odd.
Well, yeah, and that's what, I'm just wondering, of course, I'm not made of money, but, you know, you just read all of it and make it like one survey.
Right, oh, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that would really make more sense. Some people cut it off, put the little fish hook ball in there, but I don't know.
Part 1, 2, or whatever, you know, and then have the total amount of acres.
Yeah, you want them to, I mean, they have to all be the same zone, you want them together for tax map purposes, because, you know, taxes will be higher if they're separated, so.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so when they're separate, it's higher tax.
Little pieces are worth more than big pieces per acre, on a per acre basis.
Well, thank you for that information.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's what you wanna do.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna simplify my life if
I hear you.
but if I get like Mr. Kirk, then it won't matter, I'll just make enough money, it don't matter.
Yeah.
He's made of it.
Yeah, that's the plan. I hope it works out for you.
Lord. You heard about this chicken tractor trailer drove through my gate? Oh, you didn't hear
I
about
know
that?
that for next month,
Oh, my Lord.
but they were actually gonna be for.
Let me show you a picture.
Where was he trying to get?
Well, you know, he was up on the other end, Cherokee end,
Okay.
and he passed all those,
You got all the way down there?
he passed all those road close signs.
Right.
And I had one gate open for the mailman to come in, had to move my mailbox in.
Yeah.
These were locked. And the funny thing about it, Ford's Mill, I mean, he messed up his truck.
Yeah.
And I chased him down. I heard it on the truck, I heard it on the,
That was not
I
on.
just had to be home.
Yeah.
And I never run.
That one is no.
This is where I went through
You
it.
know, cause he takes off, so we have to take off for this one.
Ford's pulled his truck up. So here's
That's
the
for
funny
Briggs,
part. So
that's for Briggs.
Briggs, yeah.
gates, and they were concrete metal poles, beach tanks line, and that's the funny thing about it. I was on the porch, I saw them in the creek. I'm going to my truck, gonna let him out, maybe give him a piece of mind. I heard it rev up his engine and he just went through it. Go 75 miles an hour down the dirt road and caught him turning on the 72.
Really?
And ran right in front of him. I said, you ain't going nowhere.
Not until then.
Our road department must have done a good job on that dirt road, go around 75.
Both ends is good right there. You get across the creek.
Yeah.
What, isn't the plan to put a cul-de-sac there, a turnaround?
Well, they have a I have a turnaround on the front, on the, yeah, on the end.
That's where the
We
bus.
drove through the first gate.
Yeah.
There is a turnaround there. I gave him some land.
Right, I thought.
And we turned around, and after we passed every road close sign, and he just decided, and one time I did park in the middle of the road, and I got parked in the middle of the road, and pulled to the side, and he just went on by.
Yeah.
Let me share this with you.
And he plants some trees or put some dirt or something.
That contract driver for one of them.
Well, here's the first thing about that, I had to hire an attorney. It's been through three, ain't paid nothing, it ain't us, it ain't filled with pride, it ain't this, it ain't that. I said, okay, let the lawyers work it out.
You ready? You ready? Right.
So that's all that.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our October 3rd, Madison County Board of Commissioners work session agenda. As part of the call to order this evening, I'd like to start with the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, on our agenda tonight, we will start out with Chairman's report. Those in the audience that needs clarity, I am not chairman, I'm the vice chairman. Derek Docker, our chairman, is out of town today. But we will continue with reporting on activities throughout the government and the community. Number one, our free tire disposal, event, is happening now, October 1st through November 5th at the transfer station. And the event is for only Madison County citizens, and you can bring up to 10 tires per citizen. And the station is open for this drop-off on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 8 to 4:30. So if you have a tire or two hanging around the shop, or have a friend that pulled a few out of the ditch, good opportunity to bring them in and get them recycled properly. Number 2, voter registration deadline, November 8th is our general and special election. The voter registration deadline is October 11th. If you need to register to vote, or update your address, or change your name, or make any administrative additions or to your card, please contact the Board of Elections and Registrar's Office. If you need their number, it is 706-795-6355. Number 3, our basketball registrations are now open at the Rec Department until November 6th. We encourage ages 5 through 17. You can register online at Madison County Recreation Department website. And if you don't have access to that website, please call the Rec Department. I'm sure they will help you get filled out. Number 4, our 19th annual Madison County Public Safety Toy Ride and Cornhole Tournament will be November 12th at Memorial Park here in Danielsville. And all proceeds donated will go to the Madison County Food Bank to support the Christmas programs for children in the county. We also have our comprehensive plan. Our next meeting will be on October 10th, 6 p.m. at the Board of Education building. Had opportunity to attend the last one at Jackson EMC, and I believe our consultants kind of wrapping up the land use planning efforts of it and moving into additional topics such as infrastructure and those types of activities for the comprehensive plan. So when you get a chance, please attend and participate. And we got a report from the Sheriff's Office, the courthouse, a quarterly report for the quarter, which includes July, August, and September. Court had 53 sessions. We had approximately 15,628 people come through the doors. They actually collected 247, and 247 weapons were returned. So that's pocket knives and whatnot, I assume. We just assume people forgot to slip them out of their pockets. We denied entry for 2 people. 1 person had to be removed, and some other miscellaneous data in there if you'd like to see that. But as of today, I think that concludes the chairman's report for tonight. Next on our agenda is business involving guest groups from multiple visitors. I don't believe anybody has registered for that. So we will get to our public hearings and actions on zoning matters. Mr. Chairman, you present tonight for P&Z?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 1, we have Cody and Kayla Legg. Turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies. Cody and Kayla Legg are requesting conditional use for their 73.41 acre property to allow them to operate a meat processing facility on the property. The property is located at 1268 Highway 72 West in Comer on map 84, parcel 64, District 5. There was no opposition. The planning and zoning voted 5-0 to approve.
Thanks, sir. Public hearings and zoning matters actions, we will take public comment. Would anybody like to speak in favor of this application? Come, state your name.
Mark Jackson. I think it's we need more of them in our county, because a lot of them have closed up, as you know, over the years, to take your deer and wherever, and your animals you raise. So I think it's a positive thing.
Okay. Anybody else like to speak for or in favor?
I'm Kayla Legg, so the one that is wanting to do this. I just want to say that we are wanting to open up just a local family meat processing facility, ran by myself and my husband, to be able to bring in, we're going to do cows, deer, and pigs, for local farmers, and just bring something else to the community that is unfortunately more people are shutting down.
Thank you. No one else coming forward for, open the floor for anybody that wants to speak in opposition to this application. None coming forward, we will close our public input session of it and bring it back to the board. Gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, I move this conditional use permit be approved as presented. Second.
Got a motion from Commissioner Chandler. Second. I was gonna say Commissioner Denny, and I lost his last name. Adam, Commissioner Adam. All right. Any further discussion? Being none?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Motion approved.
Okay, number 2.
I'm sorry, Mr. Scott.
Yes.
What, Tracy?
I'm sorry, I know we said presented as is, but, Chairman didn't say that. The vote was provided that the condition, section .7.1.216, it must be met, that section of the ordinance. That was the condition for P and Z.
What was that?
That's actually, I don't think that's a condition, that's just the, that's the provision for the conditional use permit that's being granted. There are 2 different ones in A1 for different type. There's another one for commercial meat processing. 71216 is the conditional use for individual meat processing, which is what the legs are doing.
That's just what the motion had said, typically that.
So, I would put it in the minutes as variance granted for 7.1.2.16. Not variance, conditional use. Thank you, Commissioner.
7.1.16.
7.1.2.16.
Thank you.
You got that, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
No further actions, Mr. Campbell?
Correct.
All right, Mr. Chairman, Mark Jackson.
Okay, clear, okay. Number 2, Mark Jackson representing Lynn F. Board is requesting to rezone her 15.66 acre property from A1 to A2 to combine approximately 2.3 acres from the adjoining A2 property. The property is located at 1082 Osley Mill Road in Coma on map 0104, parcel 38, district 4, with the condition that both tracts be combined into one. And it was approved 5-0.
Thank you. All right, we will open the floor up for anybody who would like to speak in favor of this application. None coming forward, we will answer.
I'm Mark Jackson, so I don't know if I'm for it. We're just basically trying to, it's a piece of landlocked land that, is 2 feet from a driveway, and we're just combining it to make it whole. And, the owner doesn't have access to the land from his other, it's a 100-acre tract. So he's agreed to sell it to me at a high cost to, buy that 2 unplantable land acres, so. But we appreciate the zoning on it.
All right. As the applicant, you concur with the P&Z?
Yeah.
All right. Any further person want to speak in favor of? Being none, we'll ask for, open the floor for anybody to speak in opposition of. Seeing none, we will bring it back before the board. Gentlemen?
I make a motion that we, rezone as presented.
Second motion.
That's to combine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We got a motion, Commissioner Kirk, second, Commissioner Chandler, recombine with the condition as noted. Any further discussion? Kirk?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Motion carried, motion approved. All right.
Thank you.
Number 3, Jackie C. Looney is requesting to rezone his 2 adjoining properties from A1 to A2 to combine into one tract of a total of 11.58 acres for tax purposes. The property is located on 664 Mathis Road in Danielsville on map 37, parcel 095 and 095-01 in District 2, with a condition, the planning and zoning approved 5-0, with the condition that both be combined into one tract.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, this is the application for Jack Looney. Anybody like to speak, the applicant can come forward, or those that want to speak in favor of this application.
Well, I'm Jackie Looney, and, I just wanna put my house, land back together after I got my house paid for. So that's all I'm trying to do.
Thanks, sir. Anybody else want to speak in favor of this applicant? None coming forward. Anybody want to speak in opposition to this application? Seeing none, we will close the public input and come back forward for gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, I move this rezone request be approved as presented with the condition.
I'll second. The motion from Commissioner Chandler, and a second from Commissioner Kirk to approve the rezone with the conditions as stated. Any further discussion? Commissioner Adams?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Motion carried, motion approved. All right, Mr. Chairman.
Number 4. Y'all, I apologize if I don't pronounce these names correctly. Rita Corey and Roxy Turbin are requesting to rezone their 7.79 acre property from A1 to RR to allow a second house for Rita to live on the property, be closer to her elderly father, to help care for him. This will bring the property into conformity with the zoning regulations. The property is located 585 Loop Road, Commerce, on map 2, parcel 12 in District 1. The planning and zoning voted 5-0 to approve, with the condition that these both be combined into one tract.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right. Open our public input session for the Rita Croy and Roxy Turbin rezone request, and the applicant can either come forward or those that speak in favor of this application. Seeing none? No one coming forward, we'll close the floor for that and open the floor for anybody that would like to speak in opposition to this application. Being none, we will close the public input session and bring it back to the board. Gentlemen?
Make a motion that this application be approved.
Second. So a motion to approve the application, and a second by Commissioner Kirk. Primary motion by Commissioner Adams to approve the rezone with the conditions that they be combined, the two parcels be combined. Any further discussion?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman, is there a reason that, that the hardship case or exemption would not be utilized instead of a rezone here?
I do not know. I do not know. Maybe Tracy can shed more light on that. I was actually absent for this particular meeting, so I can't speak to that. I don't know if that was even brought up.
I believe it, oh, go ahead, Tracy,
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
go ahead.
You'll correct me if I'm wrong then. I think it's because of, restrictions on, hardship for a second residence, or I'm sorry, I better shut up, let you do it.
No, it's okay. I did, offer this as an option, and she said no, she wanted it to be a permanent thing, and it's just, her and her sister, she's moving from Beaufort, and I believe they indicated that it was due to some inheritance issues, like she was gonna get the property with her father's home, and her sister has another piece, and that's what was told to me.
So eventually they're gonna want to divide it anyway, which sounds like.
Could be.
Any further questions or comments? D none? Mr. Chandler?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried, motion approved. Right.
Okay, our last one is not a rezone, but it's an amendment. Consider amending the zoning ordinance, section 7.3, which is now called rural residential, to change from rural residential to agricultural residential. Consider amending section 7.3, rural residential zoning district in the zoning ordinance. The proposed amendment will delete RR district in its entirety and will replace it with the AR residential district in 7.3. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 4-1 to approve. There were only 5 members present. They voted 4-1 to approve. And maybe our attorney has a little more enlightening for the public.
I think that a couple of things from just listening to the discussion at the meetings I went to, the purpose paragraph has been changed entirely, as well as the title from rural residential to agricultural residential, and I think that was the main intent, was to give a better definition of the intent of that district and what people should expect within it. There are some relatively minor changes within the text of that section as well, and I think Ms. Patrick's provided a red line so you can see those easily. You have a resolution for this one, because if this change is made, it would, and the resolution covers this, you would also need to change the zoning map so that all parcels now designated RR become designated AR. And one other thing that's actually not in this resolution, but that I would ask you include for the motion, and I'll revise it, is to change all references within the zoning ordinance to the RR classification to the AR classification, because you have tables and things in various places that give you setbacks and frontage requirements and those sorts of things that are different depending on the district designation.
All right. I think I've got that understanding on that one. So, again, this is, handled under our public hearings and actions and zoning matters, ordinance or zoning code, and, zoning maps and zoning, documents. I'd like to open the floor for anybody to speak in favor of this change, this adoption of this.
Can I speak?
You wanna speak in favor of it?
Yes, sir.
Then come on. It's okay if you wanna speak against it, though. We'll do that in a different spot.
I'm actually favor of it, if I'm understanding this right, because you're talking about for the whole county, right?
Correct.
Because this RR has got every neighbor in my neighborhood not talking to me, right? Because I own actually around 6 acres, and I gotta go to RR. right? They don't like it. I don't know why I have to do it, because I gotta get my well on my property. So AR would actually probably resolve the issues of what they're considering you building a subdivision on 6 acres. I don't understand it, but I think I understand AR. So AR would put it back pretty close to the farmland sitting around me, right, and make them a lot happier. And maybe they'll talk to me again, right? I'm serious.
Give me your name, please.
My name is Pierce Glenn Briggs. She knows me quite well. And
He was
because,
actually,
so I'm very in favor of it, because I think it, when I went through this thing and with some other people, that the RR doesn't set the classifications of some people in this community. And I think you're gonna have a big issue here soon with people that's gonna come up and say, didn't know that was there. So I'm in favor of it, so
Thank you,
I hope
Rick.
you get this in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wanna speak in favor of this change? Seeing none come forward, anybody in opposition to making this change?
I know this is pretty odd, because I am the chairman of planning and zoning, and what they voted, but I was absent at the time. But I have an opinion that I'm not really opposed to AR, but I think there are areas in the county that we still need RR. I think we need both, because AR allows animals in close proximity to some places. District 4, not a problem, but if you're down around Hull, that may create a problem. So I would like for the board to consider maybe having both AR and RR, and not eliminating RR in its entirety.
You realize that RR does not preclude animals.
I know it does not preclude animals, but it has a limit to the
For personal use.
to the amount of animals. Right, correct.
Thank you. Anyone else?
And if I may clarify, the AR is also limited to personal use. That did not change.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I reside at 11449 Wildcat Bridge Road. I got the paper last week and I was kind of disturbed. I didn't understand it, and maybe it's my fault because I have not been keeping up with it. But this, as I understand it, this can be a 2-acre tract. And I've seen people have a 2-acre tract and put 5 acres worth of stuff on it. And the barrier and whatever, I think is supposed to be, 10 foot around the property. And I need Carl Rowe's little white board so I could make a statement. And I didn't have time today to get all my homework done because I worked. But 2 acres, and they said it'd be could do farming on it, and it wouldn't be hobby farming. That the girl down at the zoning office said that it wouldn't be hobby farming, it would be agriculture, that you could get a tax write-off. And I thought, what can you grow unless it's hemp or something on 2 acres of land, you know? So, and, but hey, it's coming, I'm afraid. And, so anyway, I'm in opposition to slicing up little tracts of land and just putting them out anywhere. We're agriculture and we're a veteran community to the University of Georgia. And so, I'm sorry I don't have all my facts and all together, but I just wanted my voice to be heard.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can you say your name again? I'm sorry.
Sylvia Love.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we close the public input session and bring it back before the board. Gentlemen?
Move we adopt these changes as the planning commission has presented. So we do away with RR and replace it with AR. Entirety of the section and then all the.
And that includes the resolution with the addition that references to RR within the ordinance are changed to AR. And I will get that resolution to both of you.
I got it.
Well, we need to add that last part. It's not even
Okay.
what you have, but
Okay.
the commissioner just stated.
The motion, second? Second. A motion from Mr. Chandler, second, Commissioner Kirk. I'm gonna read this, this is an ordinance, and we'll add whatever necessary.
Yes, sir.
For the purpose of promoting the health, safety, and general welfare of the present and future inhabitants of Madison County, and to for the further purposes of Madison County zoning ordinance set forth wherein, Madison County Board of Commissioners does hereby ordain and act into law the following changes in the zoning ordinance, including the changes for the zoning map references and, all the zoning references.
Yes, sir.
That section 7.3 hereby be deleted in its entirety, and the following substituted in its place, titled Section 7.3 AR Agricultural Residential. Any further discussion? Comment?
I'd like to make a, reply to Ms. Sylvia's comment, and I agree completely. I'm concerned about the smaller tracts throughout the county. In my mind, what this does is it creates a better understanding that even though out in the more agricultural rural areas of the county, that this is still an agricultural zone and not a residential zone. So it would at least create the perception that although this may be a 2-acre parcel, that this is considered agriculture. So that's, in my mind, it is a better fit in our part of the county than RR is.
Any further comments, questions?
I just agree with what Terry said. I mean, that was,
Well, would there be a residence on that?
There could be, but that's essentially, RRs are, in large part, they're currently granted pretty much throughout the county anyway, but this gives it more of an agricultural designation as opposed to just a residential designation. Still would be
Who oversee all of this?
ma'am?
Who oversees?
Well, it still would, any change in that would have to come before the Board of Commissioners, but obviously planning and zoning would be responsible for overseeing that. Daily and code enforcement. Ma'am?
I can't get any callbacks on my call, so.
I just spoke with you today, with Sylvia, so Tracy.
I work in.
All right. Thank you, everybody. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Mr. Kirk?
yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Motion carried. Motion passed. Right, that concludes our public hearing and zoning actions for zoning matters for tonight. We will continue to move into our remainder of our agenda. We have several budgets to review and approve. A few other outstanding items. Open the floor. If there's any public comment wants to be held on the remainder of the agenda, feel free to step forward and make a comment. If not, then we'll take up our business and kind of order. Being none coming forward, we will consider adopting a 2023 food bank budget.
Actually, I think you have all those on the consent agenda together.
Yep. So I'm gonna just read them out loud. We got the food bank, 2023 food bank agenda. We got the 2023 law library special revenue. 2023 clerk's deed special revenue fund, law library, so that sheriff's office state seizure budget, the 2023 jail commissioner commission budget, and the 2023 sheriff's office Christmas donation budget. All will be presented in one motion. Gentlemen?
One question on this, on the second time we've done this, typically they balanced, but the law library and the clerk's deed, they have not balanced.
Those, come from Ms. Cross. For the reason, I don't know why they wouldn't, what the difference is.
Look at the past, there's been carryover revenue. So, and it's just not, we don't question that in the past too. It's carryover revenue that's not identified in that budget's revenue source. even though the expenditures may spend it at that time. Okay. That's my understanding. Any further questions, comments? Need a motion and a second.
Move these be approved.
Got a motion to approve the budgets.
Second.
Yep. Second. Motion second to approve the budgets as presented on the consent agenda. Any further comments, questions?
Just one comment, I don't know how these are presented to you, but in the future, we have these, if there is carryover, revenues, it's gonna match those expenditures or help match those expenditures that we, help our feelings if we see those.
All right. Commissioner Adams?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, we got our Madison County 2023 county budget and budget resolution. You know, we've had several work sessions, several iterations of the budget. What's in front of you tonight is the proposed budget with changes from the chairman, as we discussed. At the end of the day, would create a revenue balance surplus of $354,584. Motion and a second to adopt the budget.
Move the budget be adopted.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Chandler, second, Commissioner Adams. So budget resolution, just read the preamble. A resolution to adopt the budget for fiscal year 2023 for each fund, the Madison County Board of Commissioners appropriating the amount shown in each budget as expenditures, adopting the items anticipated funding resources, prohibiting expenditures to exceed anticipated funding sources, and prohibiting expenditures from exceeding actual funding sources, hereas and whatnot. All right, we got a motion and a second. Read the budget resolution. Commissioner.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Budget's passed. And for those in the public, if, you know, we always have the opportunity and reserve the right to come back and adjust budgets as necessary as expenditures exceed, anticipated revenue, costs go up, you know, fuel prices go up, you know, we get more applications for certain things, so we always have the opportunity to review those as we move forward during the course of the year.
That is also state law that allows you to do that.
Yep.
Yep. And I'd just like to let folks know, because I had a lot of people ask me about how much is the budget for Madison County. So this is what we're voting on, the projected, revenues for the budget is $22,282,143. And we got expenditures of $21,927,558, which gets us to that number that Derek talked about, the $354,584.29. Okay, that would be the sort of the surplus on that. So that's so you know, that sort of knows what our budget is, and you can look around the state and see what other counties' budgets are, and a lot of those budgets of some of those counties near us are a lot larger, but they have a lot larger tax base also. So therefore, that's one reason their budget's so much larger. Thanks.
All right, moving on to number 7, have an opportunity to make some upgrades, on some of our infrastructure opportunities. Mr. Chandler, and the back, Mr. Chandler.
I got emailed each of you copies of these drawings, but just in case you need a hard copy in front of you.
Good.
Thank you.
You don't want it? Sure. primary for, I guess, discussion, not necessarily sure what, official action or is necessary on your behalf, but, subsequent to our IDA meeting last Wednesday, Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Chandler were at, kind of rehash some of the discussions and things that have been going on down at Madico Park in terms of system upgrades to support the expansion that SMI is doing. Appreciate them being at our meeting. I've got some representatives here tonight. Any of them would like to chime in at some point, but primarily, if you remember back in July, we had come to you kind of hastily after some meetings with them and requested some funding for materials to do some water line upgrades down there. At the time, thinking that it would be appropriate for there to be a cost share with SMI on that project, but as we really narrowed down the design and what it's turned out to be, their original budget for the design they had been supposedly approved for is well under the design that we have today. And of course, we've all had that conversation about, how we got to this point, but so essentially what we're asking you for tonight, the materials that we have purchased for both the connection from Highway 172 up to the end of SMI's property, which would be the system upgrades that would support them, is approximately about $100,000, $104,000. We've also purchased about $74,000 of materials to go from there back around to our well. So essentially we've got just shy of $180,000 in materials. I think there was a spreadsheet sent out earlier today via email that probably has a more accurate number than I've given you, but it was somewhere between $170,000 and $180,000. So what we're asking for tonight, or what we wanted to have discussion on, again, this is all subsequent to our meeting Wednesday, was to go ahead and have some partnership to actually do the installation of the portion of work that's going to support SMI's expansion. It's about $82,000 of labor to do that installation, to do all the taps and meters for the existing services, to do the connections across Madico Drive, installation of the fire vaults and meters that will service their existing and new facilities, and then the portion beyond that we will internally do the installation on, but it's a much simpler project. It's just water lines and a couple of hydrants on it. But did you have a question?
Don't you finish? I've got one question. I just want to make sure we cover it.
So essentially, if we're looking overall numbers on this, I still think we'll come in well under the $200,000 for the materials for the entire project. We do still have some fittings and things to buy once we get started on the work. But what we're asking for tonight is they budgeted with their contractor about $82,000 to do that installation. I asked them to add a 10% contingency into that, which brings the total of just over $90,000. So again, we'd like y'all's support in allowing us to agree to go ahead and do that work for them, get them moving forward. So all the materials are on the ground, again, aside from those few various fittings and things that we won't know until we do some more site work. Yeah, that's right. So
the only thing I would ask Josh, now I think this may be more of a Frank question.
Okay.
Because he's in the field more. Frank, this will correct that issue that we have of the backflow preventer being in the low-lying area below the retention pond.
That's right.
Too, so that takes that off the table.
That's right. And essentially, that's the reason we disallowed that connection point as they were originally had in their design, was because of some known issues with that vault location. They had originally budgeted, I don't want to speak out of turn, but about $80,000, if I'm not mistaken, for that their original connection. They'll still have that amount of investment in it because of the location that the service is going to come into their building, because we moved it around to the front. So they're still going to have an investment of a little over $80,000 in getting from our tying point back around to where they originally planned to terminate at their building. So their investment's essentially about the same, but we're just asking the county to go ahead and do all this work that's going to be on the public right away.
We still have, or there still are some lots available in the, where they may not belong to the IDA, that there are still some areas for growth down there.
East of Madico Drive, there's still some lots available, yeah. It looks like Commissioner Chandler has a map there.
Yeah, there's several. Here. It would be accessed by the line extension.
And one thing, I don't know if it's time to bring it up or not, there had been some conversation, part of the design work that we had done, and if you look at the, notes on the two Matico Drive crossings, we had allowed the design to allow for open cuts of Matico Drive with the assumption or understanding that, the county was gonna come in and pave Matico Drive in its entirety, or at least part of it, so, I just wanna make sure that was still the case. I don't know that I've seen that in writing anywhere. I've been told it several times, but I do wanna make sure that that is the case, because again, the design work reflects, saving some money by doing open cuts across Matico Drive, so for their sake, I wanna make sure we do clarify that tonight, so.
Thank you. All right, gentlemen, we've got a request from IDA to support our economic development team, for $82,000 plus 10%. My math says that's about $90,883. For the sake of argument, I'm just gonna round up to $92,500. Support this economic development improvement and improvement to our well system. And how many lots did you count for potential improvements?
Depending on the size of it, there's several.
We'll just say a number of opportunities in the future. Okay, all right. With that said, we'll bring it back, and gentlemen, motion to.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what we're looking for from the Board of Commissioners is a motion to commit up to that amount.
Correct.
And then, with that commitment from the Board of Commissioners, the IDA will make a more detailed contract of how that works with SMI.
That's right. And again, we do still have some funds available in the original $200,000, but I don't expect we'll get to that number. But again, if y'all are comfortable proving up to that, $92,000, then we should come in well under the budget on most of that.
All right. Jim?
I mean, we make a commitment to extend this project further for the benefit of the completion of the water line throughout the industrial park.
Got a motion from Commissioner Chandler, a second from Commissioner Kirk, and for the clarity, that is a motion of a funding commitment of $92,500 to the IDA to support that effort. Any further discussion?
I would like to make a comment. Number one, I appreciate the effort both from chairman of the IDA and from the executive director down there to try to bring some closure to this. I know there's been a lot back and forth about it. I know that our friends from SMI are here tonight. We appreciate everything that you guys have done there to try to pull this together. I think that it would be a substantial improvement to the services that could be offered both now and in the future in our industrial park on that end of the county. And with that being said, because of my involvement with the project in itself, and while I'm not the utility contractor, I am part of the project, the SMI project, I would have to abstain from voting, but I would encourage my fellow commissioners to approve this funding for this project for you guys.
Just a couple of comments, and you folks at SMI, number one, we appreciate you being here in Madison County, appreciate your partnership with us, and thank you for your patience. This has been a learning exercise for all of us, and I regret that y'all have suffered as a result of this. But bottom line, for us, what it allows you to do, from our perspective, the dollars that you had originally planned to expend on the hookup, if plans had to be changed, that will be your commitment. And the balance of it will be partnership with us and IDA and whatever needs to be, assuming 2 minutes gets approved, but that will be partnership with the county and IDA to work towards the completion of your hookup and then the balance of water line supply to the rest of the park.
And to further my comments too, in this, that kind of fell through the gap here, now through P&Z, the IDA, you guys are supposed to be on the chain for approval for developments. Now, there's supposed to be a line of communication established where y'all got input into that. So, you know, if that doesn't occur, if y'all will let us know, we will reinforce that also.
Please do, because again, that could have avoided all this.
Yeah, yes.
All right. No further comments, questions? Commissioner?
Can I have one other thing? So I just wanted to be clear on this, and my name is Thomas Yoder from SMI Composites. We originally had drawn and gone about this, we were gonna go from the back of our current property, 45 Matico, and go up through a private easement that we were able to graciously get from the Madison County School District. It would have been a fully paid for and private line all the way up the back. The budget for that was $40,000. And it is a lower number because it was a straight 8-inch line. There's no crossings, no utilities to remove. It was just a clean install. When this changed to moving out to the public right of way, we also had to change how the line got into our building. So on top of the $40,000, the original budget, we've already spent and installed $78,000 more worth of pipe and vaults to get up to this new meeting point. So although the number tonight discussed 92,000 makes along the road right, we still had to come way out of pocket to reroute to meet this new intersection of this new line.
My understanding, and since I'm not a contractor in this, my understanding, the way that I have been discussing this was that your total cost on your original expectations, which included your line coming into the back of the building where y'all had originally designed it to be, and then the additional hookup. So that would have been your fire water coming in the back, but you still would have had to make your we call it your potable water
Domestic.
in from the front, your domestic.
Yes.
Part. So in my mind, both those components would have made up your original expectation, which the number that I received was roughly, I don't know, 80,000, we call it $80,000. Is that correct?
No, that's not. $40,000 was the original to run the fire and the domestic. And the reason being is because it was like a 600 linear feet of line down the back with no interference. And the domestic water line is a 2-inch water line that runs maybe 500, maybe 600 feet. It's pretty clean cut. So no, we're $40,000 in, plus now we've added $78,000 more of pipe and vaults on top of that.
But you didn't spend the back. So you had originally planned to be 40,000, but now it's currently at 78,000.
78,000 more. So we're at 40,000 plus 78,000 is our total project. And that was due to the increased length of having to run around the whole back of the building, up a new way, and install a vault that was not originally budgeted for because we were tying in to a line that was already there in the drawings that were submitted in January of this year.
So what you're saying is you're $110,000 in. 120.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, since I was at that meeting where this came up at the IDBA, Mr. Yoder, my recollection of the executive, or not, but there was a vice president from SMI Composites present there, who had come in from Detroit, I think. The request, as it was made there, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that the county collectively, be it the BOC or the IDBA, fund this 82,000 and some odd, which has now had a 10% increase added to it, and that SMI Composites would take care of the rest. Are you saying that request has changed?
And to that point, really, conference, I met Friday, that was what we discussed, and I sent the board the spreadsheet that had those numbers on it, and also showed their additional investment was $78,000 grayed out, but again, understanding that was still the SMI's responsibility, and, the county's gonna be into this thing with potentially $290,000 in total here. So,
Yeah, I mean,
I guess I just would like to know what Mr. Yoder asked.
I mean, again, we budgeted 40,000 for this project, and the scope changed, and so, again.
Mr. Yoder, if I may, we're here today, and the board's taking this up on the basis of what was discussed at the IDBA meeting, and the Board of Commissioners is preparing to vote on a motion to to grant the request that was stated there, with the understanding that that will take care of this project. There'll be a subsequent agreement between the IDBA, and SMI Composites on the expenditure of this 82 up to 92.5. The materials are already there, this project will be done. If that is changing or there's different information, that needs to be stated now.
No, I guess for the record, I just wanted to be there that we didn't have 80,000 budgeted, that the 40 was the budgeted. So at this point, I mean, for the meeting tonight, yes, the amount that's up for vote finishes the water line and it gets us operational. But it's still some that was unaccounted for there.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we've got a motion and a second based on the request from IDBA, based on our, the past IDA meeting. The motion up to 92,500 based on math and rounding. We've got a motion and a second for that. Commissioner Adams is abstaining.
Just one other point, we had, like in that other ones brought up before, we hadn't specified where and how these funds will be generated, and that's going to take some more conversation on our part. So that'll need to be done at some point. At this point, this is just to solidify our partnership to get SMI going.
Yes, sir.
So I'm a yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Kirk, second.
First, or motion second. Motion carried. All right, we are moving on to item number 8 on our agenda. I was about to say calendar.
I did the same, thank you all. I didn't know if it was signed.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, consider establishing a study committee.
Yep. And we discussed this at the last meeting, and I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that the county move forward with establishing this study committee to investigate concerns of concepts, how to best structure our county offices and moving forward with economic development. Specifics will be defined and presented at a later date, just to move us forward.
All right, got a motion to second. Got a second. Motion from Ms. Chandler, second from Mr. Adams.
Are we allowed to ask questions on that?
To establish a study committee. Come forward.
Stephanie Harden, 7747 Highway 172. I know I asked the question last meeting, the why. Why do we need a study committee? We have an IDA, that's what their job is for. We have a steering committee, that's what we're also doing. It is, which all goes into the economic development. I want a good explanation on why we need a study committee when that's what the IDA director gets paid for.
I can tell you why it's important to me. We don't have, in my mind, a set structure for how we reach out to prospective industries or prospective companies. We don't know who the point is going to be. We don't have a clearly defined role in that perspective from the Board of Commissioners or from the IDBA or from the Chamber of Commerce. We've been operating very loosely, and it has cost us. And we need to get to the point where we know exactly how we're going to operate. Each of us knows what our role is, so we can move forward in a positive manner as we work on getting the industries that we want in here. The lack of communication and the miscommunication and the errors that we have made in working with the SMI project are just a perfect example of why we need this to happen. And it should go, in my mind, deeper than just specifically where we are today, but opening up the doors and looking at where we need to be and establishing specific roles for each.
And I agree with that. So what is the role of our IDA then?
That's what we were looking forward to define. In my mind, we have not had a clear definition at this point.
Okay. Why wasn't that established when the IDA was established? Or what have they been doing? What has been their role in the past?
1965 is when the IDA was
I know, I have
established.
the paperwork. So what has been their role in the past then?
I think that, to answer your question, I think the county is getting to the point to where we're growing rapidly. And as an employee, that we've learned that a lot of us wear multiple hats, and so our actual job description, job duties gets kind of shuffled, and we carry more on our plate. And so I think that this committee will help kind of tell the board, hey, you do need some more full-time people. This committee is also going to look at other departments. We're not just looking at the IDA and the water department. We're going to look at the rec department, how maybe the public works is structured. The steering committee will probably be involved with the comprehensive plan because all these go hand in hand together, to get feedback from them to see how our community affairs or public planning, zoning, all that is structured and how to implement our comprehensive plan. So, you know, we're spending all this money, time on a comprehensive plan. Do we have the right tools to implement it when it gets released? So it's more as a whole, a lot of things to go into that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, citizen comments are typically citizen comments that are made uninterrupted by the Board of Commissioners. It's not citizen depositions, and I have always tried to discourage questions from the Board of Commissioners about our conversation, as citizens may be deterred from commenting if they fear they will be met by questions in return from the Board of Commissioners. I would suggest that Ms. Harvin be allowed to make any statement she would like, and then the board move on. Any final comments, Ms. Harvin?
No, I'd just like it to be said that I think that we have all these boards. If they just did their job, we wouldn't need a study committee.
Thank you.
All right, we got a motion and a second to establish a study committee for improvements to county government operations, with the specifics to be named later. Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Motion carries. More to come. Right, on the agenda, I have no new business. Are there any matters for urgent consideration? None. Any necessary any necessary actions for executive sessions for real estate, personnel, and potential litigation?
No, sir.
Being none, then we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Can I say something? I strongly apologize. I'm not really, familiar with the way the meetings go, and it being adjourned still is okay. But, I'd like to come to y'all and, for some advice as well, just real quick, and I apologize for my, having my son. I think this week he gained his voice and his legs, and, I thought he'd be okay to hang with me for a minute. But, if you don't know, my name is James William Faulkner, and I am the son, in-law of Patricia Patton Carey, and she has recently been, now that my wife has finished college, she was able to give us 5 acres of land to build a home on the farm, and I was wondering if with her deeding us 5 acres, does that still fall under the same realm of it needing to be a solid 25 acres or not? She's not selling it to us, but mostly I'm just looking for some advice.
I think I can answer it.
If that's okay, and if we need to talk out, you know.
I think
another
you
time.
need to talk to the planning office.
Okay, all right.
I did talk to them about that last week, and essentially the issue you're in right now, there's a couple of ways of looking at it. The parcel
Mr.
division.
Chandler, if you want to have this conversation, can I suggest we do it after we sort of
Yes, sir. I
get out?
We're officially adjourned.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Let everybody leave.
Okay, thank you so much.
We're officially adjourned.
Yeah.
Hang on,
Planning and
come here.
zoning can answer your question.
All right, that's
Sorry about that.
Yes, sir.
Best answer I get.
Thank you.
I got an answer for you, I think.
Yes, sir. And I apologize.
That's fine, that's fine. the only reason you weren't granted that right away is we have a moratorium that's preventing, and it's temporary. That is slated to go through November. If your parcel divide was such that it did not require a rezone, it would be allowed. But because of the property that it is currently A1, the little parcel split is 25 acres without doing a rezone. If you did a rezone to A2, if you go down to 10 acres, then it requires a rezone. So if you want to be 10 acres, if you want to be less than 25, it would require a rezone. And those just not be allowed to have So what if you want it today without question, you just have to be 25 or 25 acres. If you want it to be smaller, then you just have to go through the process.
I can't change how it's structured, I can't change the wages that the wage that he gives us. She asked about, I think the regular wages are fine, but the part-time and the seasonal were all. And I told her, I said those numbers will have to come, strictly, they'll have to come from HR.
We said A2 minimum is 10 acres. If you want to be smaller than that, you have to go to the A.
Or said those numbers are wrong, we'll get together with Tracy to recalculate what her budget needs, actually need, do a budget amendment.
All of that.
And they, I mean, there are road washouts years now, and they had to put big, 6-foot and that's
Find out how quickly they can make the time.
She told me what she did.
If you have any issues, you can give it to us.
Wasn't the same, what was.
It's just a matter of if the moratorium in place right now.
And so I told her,
It is not divided as far as the rezone. It's not that there's a problem with it, it's just, it's
what the committee request should be approved. So if you think, I mean, I told her, you have to show me on paper, wages is not a number we can get, it's not a number you
but
can
visit with Chris, if you need to, I'm glad to sit down with you.
That number, you don't get a chance, you
It's
don't
pretty
get a chance to
simple,
tell
it's
you
a
which
matter
one
of
needs
process.
But if you can show